time again for Talking Dogs with Ian Grant, owner of Vermont Dog Boarding and Behavior, VFW Drive Hyde Park. It's the show that delves into the training, socializing, behavior, nutrition, and wellness of your dog. And brought to you by Guy's Farm and Yard, with locations in Morrisville, Montpelier, Williston, and St. Albans. If it eats and grows, Guy's can feed it. And we're back with the trainer, Ian Grant, and this week, here come the reinforcements. And so what do you mean by reinforcements?
So let's look at the term positive reinforcement. I think everybody that's owned a dog understands that term.
Yeah.
You know, the dog sits, we give him a treat. That's the positive reinforcement for that moment. The reinforcement is obviously the treat, and it's a very positive interaction. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing about reinforcements, though, is that a lot of times we look at it as reinforcement is only based around food, or a toy, or affection. Those are usually the three biggies, right?
Right.
You wake up in the morning, Tika rolls over and looks at you. You give her a pat on the head for snuggling up. It's that reinforcement.
Reinforcement that we still love you, Tika.
Yes, absolutely. So what I want everybody to understand, too, is that reinforcements can be ever-changing. Meaning, we've talked about, getting your dog leashed up to go for a walk many times on this show. But in that moment, the reinforcement to the dog is going for the walk. So that can be more powerful to the dog in that moment than probably a quick little scratch behind the ear.
Right. So there are different degrees of reinforcements.
Yeah, absolutely. And so if we're able to adjust ourselves and realize in that moment my dog really wants to go outside, then now's our time to create that calmness that we always want before we go outside. For some dogs, being out on the walk, they just really want to sniff and do their thing, and be a dog. So the reinforcement at that time is to put their nose to the ground and sniff.
And let them do it.
So we can create a routine of, okay, Tika, come on over here, hang with me for 5 steps, and then, okay, now you can go over and sniff. So it teaches her, like, hey, if you come near me for a little while, hang with me, I'll let you go sniff and let you have access to whatever you want, that reinforcer, if you will. So like I said, it goes beyond the traditional food and toys and affection, and it can be being outside. It can be sniffing the ground. It can also be seeing their best friend and wanting to get to their best friend. It can be pulling as well, because some dogs, as we know on leash, pull really, really hard to get to maybe it's their best friend. And then they learn by pulling, I get that reinforcer. I get rewarded for pulling by getting to my best friend.
So you got to stop it there then, right?
Yeah. So you see how this can really kind of change our vision of how our dogs behave.
Yeah. Or if they misbehave and then you bring them back, but you give them something for bringing them back. So are you reinforcing the behavior or reinforcing the fact that they came back? So
Right.
That can be confusing.
It can be very confusing. Yeah, I've got a client whose dog has started to demand bark. So
demand bark. That sounds like a new Ian Grant term.
Right.
It's demand bark.
So this dog will be in the kitchen and bark until they give the dog some food. While they're prepping their own food. So there's the reinforcer for that unwanted behavior instead of a wanted behavior.
So we shouldn't be giving them the food when they demand bark.
Right.
So what do you do in that case? Do you got to give them a timeout, or do you just
in that moment, I'm going to tell the dog to go lie down. If you have a place command, I would give it. If you don't, I would walk towards the dog, tell it to go in a nice way. We don't have to be mean about it, and create some space, because that's certainly not a behavior that we want to have the dog get stronger and have it become more of a pattern, and then the dog just barks for anything and everything. And I don't think there's many dog owners that want that around the house all day.
So we could almost classify these as positive reinforcements and negative reinforcements almost to a degree.
Yes, absolutely. This is a part of dog training in itself. So really what this comes down to is I just want everybody to understand how much these reinforcers change with our dogs. It's not always just sit, here's your food, good boy, good girl. These are ever changing. So if we can determine in that moment what our dog wants the most, then we can work with that as the reinforcer and reward for a behavior that we ask for. So it can be a fun way to train, and it makes it a little less boring than just the sit, stay, heel, here's your food.
Right, and you just can't hand out these reinforcements for anything, do you? Then you've kind of lost the whole idea of what reinforcements are.
Right, because that dog that demand barks, and we go, oh, he probably just wants a little food. I'll give him some, and it'll stop the barking. And the dog goes,
it won't.
Nope, I'm doing it again.
Yeah, there you go. So dogs are pretty smart, and they know the definition of reinforcements too, and how they can manipulate them.
Absolutely, they do. No question.
All right, back with our dog fact of the week in just a moment here on Talking Dogs.
Hey dog owners, if you're struggling with your dog's overexcitement, pulling on leash, excessive barking, or even recall, and you want a clear, structured way to finally make progress, listen up. My Canines and Culture program is a 3-month transformation journey that includes weekly instructional videos, a supportive community, and live group Zoom calls where you get real-time coaching from me. Enrollment opens Tuesday, April 1st at 9 a.m., but only for people on my VIP waitlist. And here's the deal. This program won't be offered again until the fall of 2025. This time, I'm giving you more flexibility with 3 different Zoom calls each week so you can pick the time that works best for you. No more stressing about missing a session. Spots are limited and the VIP waitlist gets first access before it opens to the public. Don't miss out. Join now to secure your spot. Head to the link in the show notes to sign up. I love helping out people with their dogs during this program, and I love taking this journey with you. I look forward to seeing you in April.
Back with Talking Dogs with Ian Grant from Vermont Dog Boarding and Behavior, VFW Drive, Hyde Park. And today, it's our dog fact of the week, and it deals with greyhounds. So what is something fascinating about greyhounds that we should know?
So, as we know, greyhounds are runners. I think everybody that's owned a dog knows that they are very fast. One thing that we may be surprised to hear is that they're actually faster than cheetahs.
Cheetahs. Now, cheetahs.
Cheetahs, we're talking up to 75 miles an hour.
When you see pictures of them and wherever you see them in Africa or even in this country, I mean, they zip right along. You tell me the greyhounds catch cheetahs in a race?
Well, what we have to do is give this a little bit of context, too.
Okay.
So we know that cheetahs are explosive. They're going to chase down their prey. Might be a couple, 200-300 yards. The thing about greyhounds is that they can run 35 miles an hour for about 6 or 7 miles straight.
35 miles an hour.
So you think about, that cheetah's going to be way back in the dust.
Yeah, I guess so.
For miles. And that's what's so impressive about, if you think about their build and their cardiovascular and their muscles and everything and how much they actually want to run. So for those of you that have the purebred greyhounds out there that may listen to this, I'm sure you're well aware of how much they want to run and they want to go. But they're a pretty strong dog, and that's their drive. That's their reinforcer, right? They want to run.
So they have a longer endurance than cheetahs, then.
Yes. Yep, where the cheetahs may be more explosive, these guys are going to have the stamina.
On short terms, cheetahs are pretty fast, but then greyhounds, 6 or 7 miles at 35 miles an hour.
Well, and if you think of some simple math, 60 miles an hour, you're doing a mile a minute. So they're doing 2 minutes for 1 mile. So they can, you're looking at 13, 14 minutes straight of running 35 miles an hour.
Well, if you get a greyhound as a dog, you make sure that it's well trained, because if it can run off,
oof. That's a recipe for disaster.
You could find it in the next county.
You
That's where it could end up being. So.
Yes. Yeah, scary to think about. But we have to redirect that energy and have it go elsewhere, because obviously we may not be equipped to run our dog like that on a regular basis, too.
Yeah. Boy, the police radar are going to be out there looking for those greyhounds. You're doing 35 in a 20-mile-an-hour zone there. All right. No more dog biscuits for you for the next few weeks. And by the way, if you want to find out more about our podcast or anything else about Ian's facility, you can go to VermontDogBoardingAndBehavior.com. Well, next week we're talking about elevation, and that doesn't mean mountain climbing, but elevation means status. So you're talking about the elevation, how tall the dog is or how big it is?
We're talking about actually when they get up on furniture and how this can relate to their behavior. So we have to be careful sometimes with this kind of stuff. But
they shouldn't be on the furniture, though.
Yes and no. You might be surprised at my answer to this one.
All right. Well, I'm ready for next week already. We're Talking Dogs with Ian Grant, brought to you by Guy's Farm and Yard, with locations in Morrisville, Montpelier, Williston, and St. Albans. If it eats and grows, Guy's can't feed it. And for the trainer Ian Grant, I'm Roland Joy, and we are Talking Dogs.